Okay guys, based on your comments, I decided I would take another stab at this, and we got it working. But there's several caveats. I want to go through them with you in this episode, and we'll actually go mow with this thing. Let's get started. So first I'll start with your suggestions for the drawbar. Probably 100 comments suggested getting one of these crossbars for the lift links on the 3-point hitch to use for a drawbar, and that does solve two of our problems. It allows me to get the drawbar lower, and it allows me to get the drawbar further back. Now, why didn't I consider this first thing? There is a good reason for this. I was taught explicitly as a youngster in all my growing up years never to use a drawbar like this. And there's a couple of good reasons for it. The biggest reason is that the 3-point hitch does not have downforce on it. So the arms are really not held down at all. So if you hook to a trailer, for example, and the tongue weight gets light on that trailer, it will just tip it back, right? No matter what you've done with the lever, it will just tip the trailer upwards like that because there's no down pressure holding a 3-point hitch down. With a trailer, that's kind of annoying, right? But with this, it could be catastrophic. Remember, this shaft is close to $1,000. And if the 3-point hitch comes upward, it will just destroy this shaft and anything in its way. So this is not something that I'm willing to go on the record and say that this is a good way to run this mower. The main reason I'm doing this episode is because you guys seem to, at least a lot of the commenters, seem to think that I was bashing the Kubota and that I wasn't willing to take the obvious step. So we're going to take that obvious step in spite of my late dad whispering in my ear that I should not be doing this. So that's why I'm not really supporting it for a production type scenario. Now remember, if this tractor had simply paid attention to the standards of drawbar length, drawbar separation from the PTO shaft, and the length of the PTO shaft itself, we wouldn't have to do any of this cobbling together. Okay, next topic. A lot of people said, well, why don't you just get rid of this huge PTO shaft and use a normal PTO shaft? I asked the manufacturer about this, and we've actually had the manufacturer of the shaft has commented on some of our videos. I don't know if he still watches our videos or not, but the Walterscheid, an engineer that actually designed this shaft for this mower, has commented on our videos in the past. This is a CV joint, a constant velocity joint. Now, from the research that I've done and also some of the videos that the manufacturer provided me, I'll put up links to those below. A regular U-joint is just simply not going to work on this type of a mower. You can't turn it sharp enough. The U-joint itself will damage itself, and the additional factor is that as you turn a regular U-joint, the velocity of the shaft will not be consistent. It'll go fast for part of it and slow for part of it. And that's really hard on the gearboxes on the mower, the rest of the components of the mower. So that's not something we would want to do. Replacing this shaft with a simple PTO shaft is a no-go for me. This was put on here for a reason. I promise you that Rhino would not have used a $1,000 PTO shaft and made their mower that much more expensive if it wasn't something they felt strongly about putting on this particular deck. Additionally, every other flex wing that I know about, definitely the Deere 12-foot mower, they don't have a 10-foot mower, but every other mower that I know about, flex wing mower, uses a CV shaft, very similar and maybe the identical shaft as this one. Okay, the third component to make this work is the PTO link. And I use that solely for one purpose, and that is to extend this PTO shaft here. Remember, it was a stubby shaft. It wasn't long enough to be able to get my PTO connected, so I used the PTO link to extend this 5 inches further back. I measured this to the tip of that shaft, and we were at 14 inches after we were all done, or 19 inches before the extension was put on there. You wouldn't have to use a PTO link. You could use an overrunning clutch, or just maybe an extension that has 1 3/8 6-spline, I think they're 6-spline shafts anyway. But anyway, just a straight extension of the PTO, but you have to do something to, because that housing is too close, well, the shaft is only about this long, so it's not a long enough PTO shaft on the tractor. I'm not sure the price of the PTO link. You could probably get one of those overrunning clutches for maybe $50, maybe less. The PTO link would be well over $100, I think. This cross drawbar was $40 at Tractor Supply. That's the bad news. The good news is they price match, and Rural King sells them for $30. I just don't have a Rural King really close to me. So this was $30. So it costs roughly $100 to make this upgrade to be able to make this work. And it is cobbled together, as I mentioned. One other point I want to make is that with this drawbar being a crossways drawbar, I cannot turn very short with this mower. I actually just finished mowing my yard with this flex wing. That's right, I mowed my yard. We'll show a little video clip here of the result, but I was having too much fun and Christy wasn't home, so we didn't get any video of me actually mowing the yard, but I set it right there at a 4-inch height and did a pretty good job. I was surprised. But I can't turn very short. In fact, I can hardly turn at all. You'll get a close-up look here. You'll see the indention I've made here in this drawbar on the mower where I've hit it right here already. And so this is not going to be a practical solution. I would have to extend that back a little bit more. To be honest, I'm done with this. This particular tractor is not going to be mowing with this mower other than this test, just to prove that we can. Okay, enough talk. Let's see it mow. One more problem I forgot to mention as far as running the mower with this particular tractor, I don't have a float on either of my hydraulic valves. I thought I did. It's got a detent on this one, so it'll stay locked in, but it's not a float. So I really need a float for the wings, and yeah, I don't have it, so not perfect. I don't think I finished my explanation of why I'm concerned about the drawbar coming up on its own. We showed in a prior episode that this mower has a tongue weight of about 1,000 pounds. So I'm really not concerned about the tongue coming up on its own. Rather, I'm worried about the rear wheels of the tractor falling into a deep hole, and then the mower running aground, which would force the tongue upward with respect to the tractor, and then the 3-point hitch would just have no choice but to come up. I considered trying to demonstrate this, but I didn't really want to put the equipment in such a bind just for demonstration purposes. Sorry about that. I really like this view. You can see the limitations on the turning radius, but you also get a good view of the CV joint and how it's connected to the PTO shaft on the tractor. Now the blades are dull on this mower. I've had it through brush, I've had it, yeah, a lot of places I probably shouldn't have. Now, a lot of comments talked about how this is just way too big a mower for this size tractor. And I understand why people say that. But the funny thing is a lot of those same people would have no issue putting a trailer of the same weight on this tractor. And that's all this mower is a trailer. So I don't feel the sense that it's pushing me around. Of course, where I'm mowing right here, I'm not on a hill at all, but I did just mow my yard with it on the side of that big ugly hill in my front yard. I can move along quite nicely with it. Now, of course, if I go real fast, the horsepower on this tractor is pretty low for the mower, but this grass is heavy. Yeah, the taller stuff is not heavy, but the grass itself is heavy. I just don't see how you're going to be able to mow something and get this good of a cut with a single spindle mower. This thing is just amazing. I've got a viewer who I think is going to be bringing an L4060, a Grand L4060 for us to try. So I'm not going to mow all of this tonight. This is pulling the tractor about all I want right here. It's a load for it, no question. I got a lot of comments, oh, you need 100 horsepower for that particular mower, and I just think there's a lot of conventional wisdom out there that doesn't apply here. You see a flex swing mower and you immediately think of the 15-foot flex swing mowers. And this is not that. I mean, this is the very first model ever created, a 10-foot flex swing. And so all that you grew up with doesn't apply because there never was a 10-foot flex swing until about 3 or 4 years ago. And the other piece of conventional wisdom is you're thinking of a single spindle, 3-point attached mower, a 5 or 6 foot mower. That's all you would want on this tractor. In fact, it would push this tractor around a lot more than this 10-foot trailer type mower. So I would just challenge your thinking. That's really the whole point of me running this flex swing on some of these smaller tractors, is to challenge your thinking and just show you that sometimes the technology does change, and sometimes you can accomplish a task in a way that you might not realize you could accomplish it in the past. Folks, adding to our challenge here is it started raining here right after we got started mowing. We've been wanting rain now for several weeks. It's always been going around us here, it seems like. And now right as we start mowing, it starts falling. So some of the last of this was, the grass was actually getting wetter and the tractor was still handling it fine. Now, again, I don't really have a problem with this size tractor running this mower. just the way I've had to cobble this drawbar and PTO shaft together to make it mow, I'm not comfortable with that. So this is not a recommendation to mow with the LX3310 and Rhino TS10 flex wing. In fact, it is the opposite. It is a recommendation not to do so. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim.